Hey everybody, in this video, I really want to break down and keep it very simple, Neville Goddard's main manifestation technique. And I want to break this down into three phases, three simple phases, so you know what phase you're in and you know how to get to the next phase. Because Neville Goddard's main technique is this, is you create some type of bedtime routine, or you at least go to bed 15 or 20 minutes early, not too tired. You go inside your imagination, you produce a feeling state, you live in the end, whatever your intention is, whatever you want, you're living from it, you're living in the end, you act as if you already have it inside your imagination. And once you're in that feeling state, you drift off to sleep. This is Neville Goddard's main manifestation technique. Really quick, before we get into the three phases, you have to think of your mind. Your mind is a muscle. Our mind is rusty. When we start trying to develop our imagination, it's like a muscle. I mean, connect it to like, if you go into the gym, you're out of shape, you're going to the gym again. Well, you're not going to get back in shape in 3 days. You're not going to get back in shape in 1 week. Okay, if you've been doing this for a month, 2 months, 3 months, well, guess what? Probably in 3 months, you're better in 3 months than you were in the very beginning. You just don't notice it. Sometimes, like when we go to the gym, we've been going to the gym every day or 2, 3, 4 times a week, and we don't notice things. Like even our first month going to the gym, when we look in the mirror, we don't really notice anything. But the things you notice, you have to be aware of. Once you become more aware, you start feeling better. You don't look physically better, okay? You don't look physically in shape, but you start feeling better. You start noticing that you can make it through your workout longer. You can make it through without feeling sick. You know what I mean? So the mind is no different. Okay, when we start doing these exercises, we're rusty. Our mind's rusty. So we have to hang in there and do this long enough until you start manifesting what you want, until you start living the life of your dreams. Okay, that's the first thing here I want to say. Now, let's kind of go on to these phases. Now, phase one is this. Phase one, let's keep it simple. Phase one is you created a bedtime routine, you're going to bed, you know your attention, so you set your attention and you lay down and you go inside your imagination. Now, in the beginning of phase one, your imagination isn't that good. You're really just kind of imagining, but you really have trouble really getting into that feeling state. You have trouble, really kind of seeing the life you want. You have trouble living in the end. You can go inside your imagination, but you kind of get to see it as a third person. You just see, you kind of see yourself doing it. You're not feeling anything. Okay, that's phase one. Now, we all have to go through phase one. Phase one is like a learning curve. Okay, but if you hang in there long enough, what happens is most of us drift into phase two, and then we get stuck in phase two. So phase two, even with phase two, most of the time, this is where I'm at, is in phase two. And this is phase two. Phase two can be frustrating because phase two is we develop the bedtime routine. We go inside our imagination. Okay, we even develop a feeling state. Okay, we can feel it. We are living in the end inside our imagination. We can really feel our emotions. We can really feel us living the life that we want, living our intention. We can feel it. We're actually doing it inside our imagination. But here's the kicker. We don't go to sleep. We don't go to sleep in that state because we can't hold our intention long enough. Okay, and this happens to me all the time where I end up producing a wonderful feeling state. I have a really strong emotion. I'm actually doing it inside my imagination. I can feel it like I'm actually there, but then I don't go to sleep. Then my mind kind of starts to kind of wake up because I'm thinking to myself, just go to sleep, Chad, just go to sleep. Because I developed such a strong feeling state, but I don't go to sleep yet. Okay, and this is where a lot of people kind of get is they're producing a feeling state, but they're really not going to sleep, or they're not going to sleep fast enough. Now, this kind of drifts over in phase three. Now, phase three is the final phase, but most of us are stuck in phase two. We're kind of mastering it, but our greatest weakness in phase two is we can't hold our intention long enough until we fall asleep. Okay, we can't hold that feeling state long enough until we go to sleep. So finally, that's what we have to really work on in phase two. You have to really work on is you set an intention, You went inside your imagination is wonderful, you produced a feeling state, but you're kind of letting your mind drift. Okay, you do good for maybe like 5 minutes, but then once you don't go to sleep, your mind starts automatically drifting. You start thinking about what you got to do tomorrow. You start thinking about an argument you had early on in the day. You start thinking about what you don't like. You start thinking about, I don't want to go to work tomorrow. You start thinking about other things, and then all of a sudden you go to sleep, but you go to sleep thinking about something else. You don't go to sleep and setting your attention. You don't go to sleep in a controlled thought or a controlled imagination. So that's really what you have to work on in phase 2. But most of us get stuck in phase 2. Most of us give up in phase 2 because phase 3 is exactly like phase 2. Is I develop the bedtime routine. I go inside my imagination, I have my attention, I live in the inn, I'm producing a wonderful feeling state, I'm living from it, I don't see myself, I'm actually living it, acting as if inside my imagination. But I've developed my mind, I developed my mind muscle to actually hold my attention, to hold my imagination, to hold that imaginal act long enough until I fall asleep. So this is what we're getting good at with phase 3. But we kind of mastered it because we mastered basically mind control, or we mastered where if it takes me 15 minutes to go to sleep, I can hold my imagination for 15 minutes until I go to sleep. If it takes me 20 minutes to go to sleep, I can hold my imagination for 20 minutes until I fall asleep without my mind drifting. This is what I'm talking about. Without your mind drifting off into thinking about stuff that you don't want to think about, then you fall asleep in those states. That's what's really happening. But in phase 3, no matter how long it takes you to go to sleep, you've mastered, you can hold your imaginal act, you can hold it until you actually drift off. No matter if it's 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, no matter if you lay there for 30 minutes before you go to sleep, you can hold that imaginal act in your mind and actually fall asleep in that state. That's basically mind control. That your mind is a muscle, so you develop that muscle that I can hold it longer and longer and longer until I actually drift off to sleep. This is where everything meets the road here. This is where all your dreams lie, is because once you actually fall asleep in that state, what Neville Goddard has said like in his lectures, as we kind of move on to a bonus section here, move on to phase 4, is you only have to like impress your subconscious mind one time. You only have to do this perfectly one time to impress your subconscious mind. Once you impress your subconscious mind is very illogical. You're fine. Once you impress it, it will come to you rather fast. No matter whatever your attention is, it will come to you rather fast because you impress your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind cannot dictate between what's real and what's unreal, what's reality, what's not, and it will just come to you. It's not your subconscious mind is not a logical mind. You know, our conscious mind, our thinking mind is very logical. Okay, meaning we have to do step 1, we have to do step 2, step 3, step 4. It follows a sequence. You know, we can't just jump from step 1 to step 6. You know what I mean? But our subconscious mind, once it's properly impressed, it's illogical. Meaning that we're in step 1, but it will jump you to step 6. You know, this is where like when you want to be a millionaire, or you become a millionaire overnight, because it basically jumped you. You impress your subconscious mind properly, and it made all the circumstances, it aligned all the circumstances perfectly for that to happen, because you impressed it properly. That's the power. That's the good news, is that you don't need to impress your subconscious mind over and over and over and over and over. You just need to do it one time proper. This is through Neville Goddard's trainings. This is through his later lectures, later books he wrote, that you only need to impress your subconscious mind one time. And that's it. And at that point, you impress it one time, it doesn't even matter if you want it anymore. You can not want it anymore, but it's still going to come to you. So this is the great news. Other than that, my friends, hopefully this helped. And because I kind of wanted to break this thing down, I kind of want to start like pulling out like what's not really working for people, what's not really working for me. And I'm very good at, I'm very good at research, but then 2, I'm really good at kind of pulling out what's not working, pulling out, making the complicated, making it more simple so people can understand, making it more simple so you can really understand where you're at. Maybe you're in phase 1, But phase one, it's all mind development. Phase one, sooner or later, you're going to get better and better and better where you move on to phase two. Now, phase two is you can hold your imagination. You can get that feeling state, but you can't hold it long enough until you actually go to sleep. Then that can be a frustrating phase because you're just like, I'm not going to sleep. I'm developing this routine, I'm developing this feeling state. I just can't go to sleep. Then until phase three, the only thing you need to work on is in phase three, to kind of shift over to phase three, is you need to hold your attention. You need to hold your imaginal act longer. You need to get good at holding it longer until you actually fall asleep. And once you really fall asleep in that feeling state and you do it the proper way, you really fall asleep in that state, is you just need to impress your subconscious mind one time. You only need to do it once. Perfect. That's all you need. That's all you need, baby. But other than that, my friends, hopefully this helped. Comment below, let me know your thoughts. Comment below if you have questions, if this stuff is working, where you're at. You're in phase one, phase two, phase three. Other than that, my friends, blessings to you, and I'll see you in the next video.